Hello everyone, welcome to part 10, module 5, data communication. So, so we are discussing on CRC, the error detection, popular error detection schemes, and I think this is the last part given to that topic. So the thing is that so far you got a very clear about idea about how the CRC is working, how to generate the CRC polynomial, and how the correction detection is done at the receiver side, everything. Now I want to add something about the CRC, the special bit pattern using which you perform the division, or the CRC polynomial. And something we have to be care about it, but you don't have to need much attention on it. Just understand these things are there, that's enough, because each of the property which I may be discussing involves a long rigorous proof why it is so that part it's not beyond the scope of our syllabus, and so that I am not covering. You just should know, like as it is mentioned in the textbook, I am just mentioning only. So just see here, if you are looking at the divisor patterns, here's the divisor pattern selection. You can observe something like the pattern B is chosen to be one bit longer than the desired frame check sequence. So hope it is clear for you. Like if P is some X bits, this is some X minus 1 bits. Every time I'm repeating that. If it is some X bits, this is has to be X plus 1 bits. So that is how you are choosing. So that you are getting a polynomial of length, CRC remainder of length 1 less than this P. Accordingly, you are making this P as 1 bit more than our required frame check sequence, and the exact bit pattern chosen depends on the type of the errors expected. So that is the thing, what kind of error there are many types of single bit error, burst error, like that many variation are there, but what kind of error you are mostly likely, and accordingly you have to choose your pattern. Okay. So at a minimum, both the high and lower order bits of P must be 1. The higher order bit of P has to be 1, then only you can say that it is some P bit. Otherwise, that most significant bit you have to ignore. And another requirement is that the lower order bit, at least it both should be 1. Otherwise, it is not meaningful. Still again, why it is if lower order bit is not higher order bit must be 0, that is clear for you. Lower order bit is not 0, what is the difficulty, that involves some more discussion. Anyway, you understand like that when you are choosing your CRC special divisor pattern, you always ensure that the lower order and the higher order bits both are 1. Now, what is an error? 1 is changed to 0 or a 0 is changed to 1. That is equivalent to performing this XOR operation with 1. Suppose you are sending 0 and you are receiving 1. Okay. You can view it in a different way, like this 0 is getting XORed with 1. Then the result is 1, right? If you are XORing with 0, you will be getting 0 as answer. Whatever. Hope it is clear. So now this 1 is being sent by the sender and is received by the receiver erroneously as 0, that, and the effect is the same one being XORed. So you can see that when you are looking your information which is being transmitted as a binary sequence, at the different points the bits are interchanged, or on those points some ones are there, and you are getting XORed with those one. That makes a result. Okay. So that makes a result which is erroneous. So the error that happened to your original information, again you can represent as a binary sequence of length n itself. If your original information which is being transmitted after appending the frame check sequence, everything, if it is of n bit, you can view your error also as an n bit, where actually in the original n bit, wherever some error happened, error in the sense 1 changed to 0 or 0 changed to 1, in that error binary sequence, those bits position will be 1, other bit position will be 0. So in an n bit pattern, I am saying that this is my error pattern. What happened if there is no error? All the n bits are 0. If there is error at some position in the original message, in those position the 1 will be coming. That equivalently, the original message, when you are performing XOR with this n bit special error pattern, you will get the result as erroneous. That is being received by the receiver. If that error n bit pattern is fully 0, there is no error. That is the thing. An error result in the reversal of a bit, that is equivalently you can say that you are taking XOR operation of that particular bit for which error occurred with the 1. you are performing XOR of that bit and 1. So okay, accordingly you are making your error pattern. So say modular to addition of 1 to that bit is equivalent to so what is happening whenever you are performing XOR operation with 1, what is the other one that will be changed, you will be getting complement of that, so that is error. Okay, so in that way you have to view it. So thus the error can be viewed as an n bit frame and can be represented by some n bit field with 1 in each error position. So in the original message wherever there is error, in those position you make a 1, in other if there is no error in a particular bit position, make it as 0, and though that particular binary sequence is our error, that is represented using some n bit frame. Now this is the thing, this T is what is being transmitted by the transmitter, and TR is the one which is being received by the receiver, and you can always see that this TR is T XOR operation with this error n bit pattern. Okay, and if all these n bits are 0, you are definitely, when with 0 0 is acting as an identity, when you perform XOR you will get TR exactly equal to T. And if this E is something not equal to 0, now if all bits of E is not 0, then accordingly wherever there is 1 in E, those bits are having some error. So where T is a transmitter frame and E is a error pattern with 1 in the position wherever error occurred in original T, and TR is the received frame. So if there is an error, that means this E is not equivalent to 0, or all n bits of E are not 0, the receiver will fail to detect the error. Okay, so normally if E is not equal to 0, there is error. The receiver is supposed to detect. So you have to read this line carefully. If this E is not, this error pattern is not equal to 0, the receiver is supposed to detect the error. That is the strength of our CRC polynomial. But there are situations where even though in presence of the error, the receiver is not able to detect it, as that the presence of residual error. Okay, so when it is happening, the receiver will fail to detect the error if and only if the TR is also divisible by P. Actually, if TR is exactly equal to T, it should be divisible by P, saying that there is no error. Now what is happening is TR is actually modified, right? This E is not equal to 0, error is there, but TR is modified in such a way that this modified TR is also divisible by P. That should not happen. So this is leading to residual error. Okay, so now this TR is divisible by P. Okay, so what is happening? We assumed that it is a situation when T is divisible by P. Actually, why it is so? Even with the addition of this X or addition of E, this TR is divisible by P pattern is actually what is happening is this E is divisible by P. So that is a situation where you are getting the residual error. So understand it once again by reading it carefully. So this TR is divisible by P, our pattern, where there is error. Okay, or presence of residual error. Equivalently you can see that TR is divisible by T, P is equivalently this E error pattern n bit frame is divisible by P. Okay, so that is the thing. Because original T, if there is no error, that is definitely divisible by P. So if what we need is after appending this, after happening some error for T, we don't want this TR to be divisible by P. Okay, but unfortunately we are getting this TR divisible by P because T is already divisible by P. The error is happened in such a way that this special n bit error frame is divisible by P. That should not happen. So you have to always ensure that if there is error, that error pattern should not be divisible by P, so that if there is error, that will be detected by the receiver. Okay, if you have still confusion, you leave it. No need to look at this in this much detail. So just I am trying to say for those who are curious on it. Okay, so what is our requirement? Let me tell you on more time. We want this TR to be not divisible by p if there is error. Okay, if this e is not equal to 0, if it is correctly detected, there is no problem. We can ask the sender and we can ask for retransition. But what is going to happen is, even though there is an error, the receiver is not going to detect the error, and mistakenly it is going to read the information just by thinking that it is exactly what is being sent by the transmitter. That should not happen. Okay, so see, TR is divisible by T in presence of error means T is by default divisible by P only. This error pattern is divisible by P. That should not happen. Okay, so that is a requirement. So you choose your P, the special pattern, in such a way that this E is not divisible by P. So that is our requirement. Okay, now how we can do it? So here the same concept we are viewing in a polynomial form. Okay, so what is how we will be choosing the CRC polynomial selection. So for this kind of study, and people can try to convert that binary concept into polynomial. So because when it comes to polynomial, we can relate certain properties of the polynomial with a very good CRC scheme with a very minimum residual error rate. Okay, so the same CRC special pattern P we are going to view as a polynomial, and we are just saying some properties of the polynomial. Same thing is applicable to the binary when you are taking the polynomial coefficient, because both are same only, but this way it is easy to express the concept than binary. So that is why we are taking like this. So when it is a polynomial, definitely our error special n-bit frame is also a error polynomial, like e of x. Similarly, you can multiply with some power of this x, I mean dummy variable, will only be detectable if it is divisible by p of x. Okay, so undetectable, that means this e of x is not equal to 0. At the same time, it is divisible by p of x. The error is going to be undetectable. So that should not happen. Accordingly, you have to select your p of x. So you try all possible pattern of p of x. Sometimes all the bits may be in error, then you will be getting all bits as 1, or some of the bits may be in error. Accordingly, some n bit there will be some 2 power n combination. Definitely no error, other than no error, all other combination like single bit error, how many combinations. So take all of them in mind. Accordingly, you have to choose your p of x in such a way that if for all the possible errors, this p of x should be, this e of x should not be divisible by p of x. Accordingly, you have to choose your p of x. Okay, so or in other way, there should not be any undetectable error. So that is not possible for us to select a p of x in such a way that by considering all the 2 power n minus 1 possibility for the c of x. So what we have is, we have some special results that will work in some special cases. So like that people are doing their research. So it can be shown that all the following errors are not divisible by suitably chosen p of x and hence detectable. So we have some special kinds of error, and we have the result also. This particular error is always detectable. That means this undetectable case will not happen if error is happening in this way. So in such a way that the polynomial p of x should be chosen in a special way. Okay, so for example, all single bit errors are detectable if you are choosing your p of x in such a way that it has more than one non-zero term. So that is the only requirement. You have to choose your p of x in such a way that, so by default, the first and last bit you are taking 1 only. So definitely in CRC is guaranteed to detect all on-bit errors. So just like our all on-bit error, even with parity scheme also it is detectable. Okay, so all on-bit errors are definitely detectable by p of x, because you are choosing your polynomial in that way. There should be at least more than one non-zero term. So that is okay. Now what about the double bit error? So for detecting all double bit error, the condition is that, again I am not going the detail, just I am giving you the result only. So it is like this, as long as the polynomial p of x has to be a special type polynomial, we call it as a primitive polynomial. The details of the primitive polynomial and all I am not covering here. If those who are interested can read it. So with the minimal length L and the frame length n bit, that is that frame length should be less than 2 power L minus 1. So you have to make your p of x in such a way that it has to be a primitive polynomial with a maximum length L. Okay, that is a requirement. Those parameter I am not explaining. This result only I am telling. If you are interested, you can see that. And that n should be, that is the length of the frame, should be less than 2 power L minus 1. And this is something that is asked in a previous year GATE exam. So that is why I thought of giving you these results. But again, that proof is possible. If you want, you can try it out, but it's somewhat tedious. Okay, and it is not, as per your syllabus, it is not needed. That is why. So all odd number of errors are detectable, like single bit error, 3-bit error. If you are using parity, definitely all odd bit errors are detectable. So your CRC polynomial should be at least capable of that parity scheme, right? So all odd bit errors are detectable, provided this p of x contains a factor x plus 1. So you have to choose your p of x in such a way that x plus 1 is a factor of it. That is how you can detect all the odd number of errors. Now, if you are looking at burst error, any burst error for which length of the burst is less than or equal to n minus k is detectable. I think here I missed out some points. Some more criteria are there, and sorry for that. You just see the textbook, okay, for that. Okay, anyway, the first 3 property, particularly this third property, they asked in the previous GATE exams. That is why I want to highlight you this particular point. But anyway, as we are not covering its proof and all, it's not so significant. So just go through this. Now let me tell you some of the widely used CRC polynomials. So definitely those features which I listed there, and also you see that William Stalin's textbook, they listed some more features also, but they are going more and more complicated, and still we don't have the proof and all. That is why I just skipped it. Okay, so anyway, we have certain special features, just like what I explained in the previous slide, and by keeping all these features into consideration, certain polynomials are popularly used in different application, and they are just listed out. They are some kind of standard polynomial with all the properties that are explained in the textbook, and they are being covered. Okay, so we just see this was standard polynomial, and you have to know, like when you are choosing the CRC, if you are choosing any one of these polynomial, and still if you are CRC 12, CRC 16, and this some CCITT standard polynomial in CRC 32, and different polynomials are being used in different situations. Particularly if you look at this Ethernet and all, the standard Ethernet version, when it is using CRC 32, and in some other situation other polynomials are used, and accordingly they have different features also, and those things. Anyway, I thought of giving attention into this polynomial in your mind. And sometimes they may ask you also give some standard special CRC polynomial, or they may ask you like that is some given some message using CRC 12 perform the division. In that time you should know what is CRC 12 if they are making the question like that. So it is better if you can by heart this polynomial in your mind. And the CCITT is a standard. You can Google it out. It's for its full form. It is like something Consultative Committee for International Telephony and Telegraphy. So that is telegraphy. That is a full form. Okay, Consultative Committee for International Telephony and Telegraphy. That is a standard, just like IEEE and other standards. So this is again a standard, and they have a polynomial defined like this. Whenever people are proposing such a standard polynomial, they will take each of the properties that we already seen, and more are there in the literature, and they will try to prove these many properties are there in the polynomial. So it is a very good candidate for that. So normally, if you are looking IEEE 802.3 Ethernet and 802 standards and all, the CRC 32 is what is being used. So some use cases are given, like CRC 12 is a system used for the transmission of stream of 6-bit characters. If if each information is being, the basic unit of information is being represented by some 6-bit character, so definitely character 8-bit, remaining 2 bits will be having some special meaning, and in that situation CRC 12 is preferred one. With the 12-bit frame check sequence being generated. Using CRC 12 means it is a degree 12 polynomial, or if you are viewing this as a binary, there are 0 to 12, 13 bits. Okay, so n minus k plus 1 is your 13. Okay, so your frame check sequence is of 12 bit. So CRC 12 is giving you a reminder of CRC reminder of 12 bit, so that you will be appending as the 12-bit frame check sequence. In the same way, CRC16 will be giving a 16-bit reminder, that is our frame check sequence, and the CRC-CC ITT will be giving again 16-bit, just like CRC16, but polynomial is different, and the CRC32 will be giving a 32-bit CRC polynomial. So that is something important. If you are looking at the frame format of Ethernet protocol and all, you can see that CRC, there is a special area dedicated in the frame header, and you have to reserve some 32 bits for that, because you are going to get a CRC reminder which is 32 bit when you are performing the division of any lengthier message with the normally if you are looking Ethernet and all, a particular frame is 1500 bytes or bytes, I think. So that many bits will come, right? So when you are dividing it with this 32-bit polynomial, the remainder is usually 32-bit, but that is not a problem, because your frame is of enough number of bits. For a very large frame, you are appending this 32-bit. Okay, so overhead will be minimum. So the CRC toll system is used for transmission of streams of 6-bit characters and generates a 12-bit frame check sequence. And similarly, the CRC16 and the CRC-CC ITT standard are popular for normal 8-bit characters that is used in United States and Europe respectively for their communication, and both results in 16-bit frame check sequence. And this would seem adequate for most of the application. And although the CRC 32 is specified as an option in some point-to-point synchronous transmission standards, and is used in IEEE 802 LAN standards, particularly 802.3 I think token ring and all, and they are using this token ring. I don't know. See the Ethernet, anyway they are using the CRC32. Okay, that's all. With this, we will wind up our discussion on CRC. So in this last part, I just tried to give you a glimpse on the way how you have to choose, or you have to give some more attention on your CRC polynomial. It is not a randomly chosen one. A lot of research is done by people, and we just saw some of the very few results only, but there are many in the literature, and with all this research and all, finally they come up with the standard CRC polynomial also for use in the practical purposes, and definitely they are going to outperform the what called parity scheme, because parity scheme is suitable only when we have a odd number of errors or single bit errors. In double bit and in all other cases it is not going to work. Compared to parity, it is definitely giving a very good performance over that. So but same purpose, that is the error detection. Okay, so that is the error detection part. So whenever the error is being detected by the receiver, what the receiver can do, it can inform that to the sender, so that the sender can retransmit the information back to the receiver. But if the detection and retransmission is feasible, then you can go with that. But in certain situations, this retransmission may not be that much easy. Some other hindrance may be there. In that time, you can go for the correction. So in next part onwards, we will see the correction scheme. So that is the last part of this module, and with this we will wind up the discussion on this module. Okay, thank you.